The United States is facing a rapidly escalating transportation crisis as the ongoing federal government shutdown threatens to cripple the nation's aviation system. What began as a political deadlock in Washington has now grounded thousands of flights, stranded millions of passengers, and cast a shadow over the upcoming holiday travel season. A nation grounded. According to the Federal Aviation Administration, FAA, air traffic control centers across the country are operating at dangerously low staffing levels. With thousands of federal employees working without pay and many more unable to report for duty, the FAA has warned that up to 20% of all domestic flights could be canceled if the shutdown continues into mid-November. Major airports including New York's JFK, Atlanta's Hartsfield-Jackson, Chicago's O'Hare, and Los Angeles International, LAX, have already seen severe delays and cancellations. In several cases, flight schedules were slashed by nearly 10% over the weekend, forcing passengers to sleep on terminal floors and wait hours for rebooked flights. "We are operating on the edge of safety," said one FAA supervisor who spoke on condition of anonymity. "If staffing levels fall any further, we'll have no choice but to shut down certain air routes entirely." The political standoff. The shutdown, now stretching into its third consecutive week, stems from a bitter dispute between President Donald Trump and Congress over federal spending and immigration policy. President Trump insists that the budget must include additional funding for his border security initiatives and other national priorities. "We're not going to back down," Trump told reporters on Friday. "We need a budget that protects America and restores fiscal sanity. The Democrats are playing politics while our people are suffering." Democrats, however, argue that the crisis is entirely of the administration's own making. "This is not leadership, this is hostage-taking," said Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer. "Millions of Americans are paying the price for one man's political strategy." Impact on everyday Americans. The shutdown's effects are being felt far beyond airports. Transportation Security Administration, TSA, lines are growing longer as more officers call in sick or quit. Federal employees, including air traffic controllers and safety inspectors, are now entering their third week without pay. Essential federal programs like food safety inspections, national park maintenance, and weather forecasting are also being disrupted. Economists estimate the shutdown is costing the U.S. economy nearly $300 million per day, with potential losses exceeding $5 billion if it continues through Thanksgiving. "We're looking at one of the most economically damaging shutdowns in U.S. history," said Dr. Melissa Grant, an economist at Georgetown University. "Air travel is the backbone of modern commerce. When that collapses, the ripple effects are enormous." White House under pressure. Inside the White House, aides are reportedly divided on how long the standoff can continue without causing lasting political damage. While President Trump maintains strong support among his base for standing firm, polls show a majority of Americans blame the administration for the shutdown's fallout. Political analysts warn that the crisis could erode public confidence in the government's ability to function, especially as critical infrastructure like airports begin to falter. "This isn't just a political fight," said political analyst James Fallows. "It's a test of governance. The U.S. government is effectively paralyzed, and the world is watching." Global ripple effects. The U.S. shutdown is also causing headaches internationally. European and Asian airlines have begun rerouting or rescheduling flights to American destinations. Cargo shipments are being delayed at major U.S. ports. Tourism operators are reporting mass cancellations from overseas visitors concerned about travel chaos. The International Air Transport Association, IATA, warned that if the shutdown continues, the global aviation industry could face losses in the hundreds of millions of dollars. What comes next? Negotiations between the White House and Congress remain deadlocked. Lawmakers have exchanged several proposals but failed to agree on a temporary funding measure that could reopen the government. In the meantime, millions of Americans, from unpaid federal workers to stranded travelers, remain caught in the crossfire. "This shutdown has grounded more than just planes," wrote the Washington Post in an editorial. "It has grounded America's sense of normalcy." If no agreement is reached within the next week, FAA officials warn that critical flight control operations may be suspended entirely in some regions, effectively bringing parts of the nation's airspace to a standstill. The 2025 government shutdown has become a symbol of a nation divided, where political power struggles have real and devastating consequences for ordinary people. As flights are cancelled, airports empty, and the economy slows, Americans are left asking a simple but profound question. When will Washington start working again?